All right, we are officially recording. Yay, we're part of the podcast finally.
Yay!
So actually, I never got a chance. I didn't know if you want me to use Crystal or Claire
Yeah, you can use
for.
Claire. It's fine. You can use Claire. You can use my legal name. That's fine.
All
That's
right,
fine.
all right, because I was like, yeah, I didn't know because I'm like, should I use the Facebook name or should I use the name that I'm used to?
And that's fine. You just use Claire. That's fine, Marcel. Because I know you have a different name than what you are, but that's fine. You just use Claire because I'll be using actually probably next year. Maybe I'm gonna apply actually to be U.S. senator. I'm gonna actually go against Glenn Grothman in this
Yay!
year. So I'm actually gonna go against him as the first transgender representative for the state of Wisconsin. I will be the person, first transgender female and part of the LGBTQA and actually go against him. And I'm not gonna, do any kind of negative things. But I'm going to be like, you know what? Why have a Republican? We can have someone that actually is in the middle, independent, that's going to look at both sides of the line. Okay.
Right.
And the biggest thing the first thing in my agenda is going to be, hi, Marcus. Hi, Marcus. The first thing that my biggest thing on my agenda is it's going to be, and it's a big deal, Marcus, Martel, is that going to be, is that I don't want any law enforcement. This is the big thing right up front. Remember we talked about wanting to be a governor. Mm-hmm. This is the biggest thing. I want no law enforcement just to do any kind of forceful act on anyone. All Black people, they will not engage in any kind of activity. Now, if the person, whoever they are, again, whatever, human race they are, because there's only one human race. I mean, I watch enough TikTok videos, and I will tell you hands down, that we do not need to get aggressive with anybody. Nobody.
That is true. We don't
Nobody.
Need that.
We don't need that. And if we need to get into like maybe some of these counties, I don't know what counties will be covered, but I know Fond du Lac, Washington County, Ozaukee, Sheboygan. I don't know. There's a few of them that I'd be part of. But I can tell you right now is I would make sure that these police officers have some kind of there's a person hired for just mental issues.
Mm-hmm.
They won't be armed or nothing like that. They'll just be ready. So if people need someone to talk to.
Yeah, and this I believe, and some of the officers also needs I believe have just that training in general how to identify somebody who is having a like a mental crisis or whatever.
Yes,
we need those kind of officers.
And I would rather see that. Actually, to tell you the truth, here's something that blows my mind. I guess in the last 15 years, Eugene, Oregon, which is a city somewhere in Oregon, I don't know where it is, but somewhere, they actually have a crisis or mental health specialist on all shifts 24/7.
Really?
And then they also have called a general specialist, which is a person that just comes in. They have no gun. They just have the stun gun. That's it. They don't have any, and mace, just some basic stuff. Just as a backup, so in case the therapist or something like that, somebody that gets injured, they can call for backup, and that's it. And guess what? The mental health went from way up high or way down low. That's it.
Yeah, so that means a lot of states need to be implementing
that
type of procedure going forward. Especially, we see so many people who are suffering like these mental health issues and being killed just because they're having an episode is kind of ridiculous.
It's crazy, and I think a lot of people. I think to me mentally, there's a lot of people that could use help. I mean, right. I don't care who you are. We all could do someone to talk to, and I don't think a lot of people have that access or don't even know. I mean, it's not just when they say, oh, it's the Black people, oh, it's the gays. It's no. It's none. It's transgender. It's everybody.
Right.
Okay. There's no white privileges. I don't want to ever hear that. That is not true. Everyone should have their own, their own privileges by you working your butt off and be able to buy stuff what you need. And that's your own personal privileges. If you own a house, if you rent, you own a vehicle, whatever, I mean, whatever it takes, but that's your own personal privilege because you said, I got bills to pay, and that's your own thing. Okay. It doesn't make you above the law. It doesn't make you better than everybody else. That makes you a human being.
Right. But to get these things, like you said, to get them in effect, is like you got to vote in the right leaders. And a lot of the younger people now, who are becoming new voters have no idea about government and law. Because to be honest, I feel like now it's not being taught in school. The like the government, how basically how it goes and why voting is so important. Like a lot of people just like, especially younger people, just don't vote, and
No,
that's why we have a lot of the issues with the government system that we have going on now. It's fine that they say, oh, only vote for president. Like it's only so much a president can do. If you
Mhm.
don't vote for your like senators and mayors and all these other type of elected officials that you need, then there's just no point in going to a vote at all at this
Oh
point.
no, that's completely right, Marcel. I mean, to me, I'll be honest with you, you have to, yeah, and to when I was in, I'm not saying I'm old, but when I was in school, I mean, it taught us about the whole how the president, vice president, they gave you the whole judicial how everything
Mm-hmm.
works. Now, granted, I don't remember much of it, but I did learn something about it. I do understand, the legal end of it and our stuff like that. And going into my business schooling, I do understand
Mm-hmm.
more. It's where, okay, yes, the politics can only go so far, and it can't solve you. We cannot solve the world's. We cannot. What we
Right.
can do is we can work together. Okay, and like myself, I'd be try to get on all the social media apps. Whatever it be, Instagram, TikTok. I'm on TikTok right now, but just
Mm-hmm.
as if I was a senator, and then let these people reach out to me. Facebook Messenger or fake. Whatever it's Facebook. Just give me your thought. What's your thoughts? We can look at everyone's thoughts, put them together, and see what we can come up with. Maybe one person has this idea and this idea. Maybe we can put them together and make a sandwich out of it, and boom. Maybe it's a whole
Right.
bunch of ideas, people's thoughts, and that's what I'm. And we can all work together, but the thing is we can't be on one side or the other. I just believe that there's got to be some middle ground somewhere. Has to.
Right. I
Has
I
to.
I believe that also because like that's one of the things like I always tell people like even if a Republican president get elected, I can be okay with that. Depending on as long as they have political background, I'm okay with that. Like I get it. Whatever party you vote for cannot win every time. Like
No.
it's you just know. And I wish a lot of people understand it. But one thing I don't like say I don't necessarily like Republicans. They just don't. How can I put it? When it comes to our safety and our health, it's like they don't care. And like that's just all. I have one thing I want to talk to you about. Well, how do you feel about them overturning the mask mandate?
To me, I will tell you on a state level, I will tell you on a Midwest level, and I'll tell you U.S. level. To be honest with you, I am not for it, but there will be people that will fight me against that statement, and
Mm-hmm.
that's okay. I will tell you that you should, unless you have some health concern, you should wear a mask. I mean, the CDC did recommend this until we're out of this, and this maybe till by the summer, maybe till next year. Again, we don't know. We don't have no end date for this right now. But to me, I think safety is a factor. Now,
Mm-hmm.
if you want to engage and do your 6 foot distance from, this and that without a mask, I would say okay, but make sure, you're still abiding because you could cough, you could sneeze, you could do any one of those reactions. There it is allergy season right now. But I think to me, I think everyone should. Okay, back to the question. Everyone should keep wearing them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with the Republicans.
Mm-hmm.
I need, to me, they're just like, well, we're just going to shoot it down because we don't like Evers. Well, and his political decisions. Well,
Right.
he's trying to protect us as citizens. There's 5.8 million, which is probably now 5.6 with
Mm-hmm.
the amount of people that have died. But there's all these people in Wisconsin. Okay, just as a state. I'd rather everyone protected and safe. Now, if
Right.
they can't get a shot, I would like to see, Johnson, Moderna, Pfizer, any other companies out there come up with a shot for those people that have allergies or asthma or whatever else, so everybody can get protected. I think everyone should do it. I know it's a pain in the butt. I hear it all the time at my work, but I
Mm-hmm.
say, what? It's all for good safety.
Right. I'm one of those people. I am officially fully vaccinated, so I am happy about that one.
I actually got one. I got my first one through Freighter in West Bend
Mm-hmm.
on Tuesday.
Okay. See, I'm so happy to hear people are getting vaccinated so we can get back to normal. It's crazy because a lot of people who are complaining about how slow things are getting back to normal are the ones who are not getting vaccinated.
Yeah.
I'm like, so how you gonna complain about something if you're not gonna do your part to get it back to normal?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like like I said, see people at work, and I was like, oh yeah, so and so, we're not like should be back to normal by now. We should all just, everyone should just been, just went through the whole system and everything fine. And I'm like, not really. On a health and science level, that just don't like you just don't snap your fingers and it's just gone. It just don't work that way.
Right, and for just think about the people who are probably still alive and who lived during the pandemic back in 1918. They're probably looking at us like now, like amateurs. We went 2 years like this and had way more deaths, and look at y'all just falling apart in less than a year.
Yeah,
like we look like amateurs.
And people will blame, it's so and so president that split us up or say, you know what? That's your thoughts. Okay, let's just worry about what's going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not worry about what happened 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I don't care if it was Obama, Ronald Reagan. I don't care if it was Jimmy Carter. Again, but again, that was back then. Okay, they didn't have pandemics. Okay, Obama set something in place. Mr. Trump decided to erase that. Okay, now we could have had this composed before it came to America. True, this is true. We could have completely composed. We would have got shots a lot quicker because we would have been able to contain the people, and not get it spread.
Right.
True. I'd rather see us the next. To me, I like Obama's things. I'd rather be ahead of the next disease, the next, what's big virus that could kill people. I'd rather be ahead of that to see, okay, what's our next one? Work with our states, work with our countries. Let's see what we can do to try to be more logical.
And that's one of the things where I think things went wrong when dealing with the pandemic, because this was a global pandemic, but it was just like each country was like in a race to be the first one to try to cure it. And that's where things went wrong. It became a competition.
Yeah.
And that's why I think things had got so bad.
And you're completely right, Marta. To me, it shouldn't have been who's going to be there first in the race. It's, hey, guys, listen, we're all leaders. We're all chosen by people throughout our countries. We need to figure this out. We need, the brains. We need, are the CDC in America. And we need whatever health and safety from, Europe and Japan, Australia, other countries. You have Central and South America, Mexico. They were working on something. To be honest, Canada was doing the same thing. We needed to work. This is a team effort, okay? And if I'm, and that's no different. I've become governor. I just don't want to work with Midwest. I want to work with the United States. I want to work with North America. And I want to, branch it out to the whole world. We need to work together on, a lot of things. There might be something they may do that we might have to look at. Let's look at it. Let's see what, maybe we can, instead of making all these stupid laws and rules and regulating everybody to what they got to do, let's see if we can actually make it so everyone can make a decent living or look at things. But we need to work together.
Right.
We need this.
So when you brought up Mexico, that just made me think about so I heard a lot of people are outraged about the immigration thing down in Mexico. And I heard some people complain about how they're sending their kids over here by themselves with the addresses to like family members who live here in the USA. And one of the things I was saying to people was that, their healthcare system might not be like ours. They might not have the access to vaccines like we do. So why not I send my child somewhere where I know it's a good chance they know they can end up in one of the camps that's that's down there with all the kids in there.
Mm-hmm.
And they know that. But they'd rather have a kid in that camp and alive than being in Mexico and dead right now. That's what a lot of people are not understanding, why they're sending their kids by themselves. Like, they rather stay in Mexico and die for their kid can live.
Go ahead. So, and I completely agree with you, Martel. It's, to me, I don't understand why isn't Canada United? Why are other countries being like, hey, by the way, we're going to set up camps in some of these other countries that maybe aren't able to get the vaccines or whatever situation is, or just, hey, guess what? Make all these people cross the border in Texas, Arizona, New Mexico. Okay, put them in these camps, get them all vaccinated, right? And then you can send, if they want to go back, then they have a reason.
Right, now, send them back if they want to go back. Right,
send them back. If you want to go back, then we'll send you back. We're not forcing you to. We're not telling you to stay here in America. We're not forcing that. But if you want to start here, I everyone thinks that the system's broke. Well, it is, but we need to look at why it's broke. That's what we
Right.
need to look, not just point fingers.
A lot of people
So
look at them saying they coming here to steal jobs. I'm like, but they're doing the jobs that a lot of you are too lazy to do.
there is a lot. I actually watched some on, I think, National Geographic, or maybe there was some cable channel where this guy was it Texas or where was it? It was somewhere down south, and this guy was a farmer, and he said if he didn't have he said Hispanic people come up from Mexico to work for the season, they couldn't pick peas and vegetables and this and that, and he said these guys come up on a green card for seasonal for 6 months out of the year, and then they go back home. That's it.
Yeah, and just think how many of us Americans want to be out in the field picking peas and vegetables and all this kind of stuff. Like, we don't want to do that. But then you get mad when these people come from other countries to do it. And then these people are out here actually working in these gardens to provide food for your families. That's going to get sent to the grocery store for your family can buy.
Yeah.
But you have a problem with them coming here to do it.
And you think the cost of this stuff, I mean, there's stuff at Dollar Tree or some of their store, which $1 or less for that can, they're probably paying them, not much to be over here. They're paying on my cash salary, but that's not the point, is that at least they're doing a job. I mean, I've been on a farm. I mean, I know what it's like. It's not the easiest, not the funnest thing in the world. Right. I grew up on a farm. It's not nothing I wanted to do the rest of my life, by all means. I just helped my grandpa when he was alive and had the farm. That was it. But when he sold it, and that was it. I was done. That's it. I was so happy at, what was it, about 12? Scroll here. I was about 12 years old. I would say that 12 or 13. He said, that's it. I'm selling. I'm done. I'm retired. All right.
This young lady I've been working with at the vaccination clinic I'm at. And she was saying like how her family, somebody in her family had left her like a whole bunch of land in Mississippi. And I'm like, and she was like, it was just given to me just there. She said it was some type of contract where she was told she can't sell it and all this stuff. And I'm like, she was like, well, would you live on it? I'm like, no. She was like, why? It's free land. Like, you build whatever you want on it. I think she said like 100 and some acres.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, no. And she was like, well, I'm a city kid. Like, I don't do the middle of nowhere. I'm like, I'm not driving 20 miles or 40 miles to go to a grocery store like that. I wouldn't survive out. No, it just wouldn't happen.
Go ahead, Martel.
No, I was just saying, like, I just wouldn't be able to do it. Like, no.
It's not bad if you're going to be going like, to a resort or a weekend getaway or something like that, where that might be a distance, but to travel, my parents, I think they're about 10 to 15 minutes from all the major stores, which isn't bad. They're out in the country, but it's not 20, 30, my parents, where they have land now to go to a major store. Yeah. You're almost like an hour away, Yeah.
And can't do it. Nope. Not happening. I am a city boy. I don't want to be out there swatting flies. I don't have to deal with all that stuff. The flies is going to be bigger. I don't have time for all the shenanigans that goes on with that.
That's
I'm not going to be out there cutting all that grass. And no, she said, no, you can just use whatever you land to build whatever you want, then let nature take over the rest of them. Like, no, not happening. I'm not going to be, ain't no snake about to be crawling through my toilet at night. Just
oh my happening. God, Mississippi, I don't know. Yeah, down there, it's like, oh God, yeah.
Right, and then the heat is like, no, I would not survive.
It's humid. I mean, everyone complains about up here, and it's so different from Florida, Mississippi, Alabama, all the way up. You get that because this is most of the state's all swampland, just like Florida, Mississippi, Alabama. So when it gets hot and humid, it's just
right. Couldn't do it.
So, and down there it's worse. So I mean, it's so much warmer. Plus hurricanes and tornadoes and
right. So Marcus was actually on the last episode of the podcast, and one of the things we had talked about was the guilty verdict of the Minnesota cop.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of people some people are considering it a victory. Some people saying it's not a victory. It's not a victory until we know how many years that he got. So what were your thoughts when they came back guilty?
So I was very happy that they actually did convict him. And I don't remember the 3 charges, but I'm glad they did. Actually, I'm happy they convicted him. My friend of mine texted me this, and she said it was
first and second degree murder and manslaughter, I think.
Yes, that's okay. That sounds That sounds about right to me. And to me, Martel will tell you, I was very happy because no human being should be doing, putting your knee on a person's neck for that amount of time. I think it's so what I got just so evil what happened, and to
Right.
me. Now I've had two opinions, from two different guys. And I one from a black guy, one from a white guy. And to me, I actually accepted both of them, looking at this because I said I want to be governor. To me, I think to me, I'd rather see Mr. Floyd still alive. That's just my opinion.
Right.
That's me, but that's me though. That's just me straight up. I hope that he did get his wings, and God bless him. I hope that he blesses
Mm-hmm.
everyone around him. But to me, I'd rather see that Derek. I'd rather see him taken down to Texas and shot.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion. Now that's a little rough to say that.
It is, but I mean, but that's just how you feel. I mean, I don't know. I kind of looked at it like this was something that was it was meant to happen for a reason. Because I feel like everything happens for a reason. And maybe with George Floyd, this was probably something that was like in the cosmos that was meant to happen to start this movement of police reform that we have needed for probably for the last 50 years. And because of George Floyd's sacrifice, I would call it, it's the reason that we have the police reform that we got going on now. Now, is it going to change right away? No, but it's what we needed. And a lot of people was like, well, why would you put it in that way? I said, well, just think about it. If Martin Luther King or Malcolm X wasn't sacrificed, do you think that we would have the change that came after that happened?
Yeah, no, you're right.
Like they're like Martin Luther King probably like and all them. They probably still would have been fighting for segregation going into the 70s and the 80s. Still, probably still till today if that sacrifice didn't happen. And sometimes, like you said, sometimes that sacrifice has to happen to set off a cosmic change, and that's what George Floyd. He basically took that sacrifice for change to happen.
And it's true. And the gentleman I talked to, the black guy, again, I'm taking both sides. The white guy said, just take him out. Mm-hmm. And the other one's like, just let him rot. Again, because that's what his father taught him. So I'm like, I guess, maybe I did say that. But then again, which way you turn? Do you just let him rot in a pretty much, a concrete cell and just let him rot there? Feed him very little until he's dead.
I think she should let him rot. Like, I think every day they should like at least have like some type of way where there's like a permanent mural of George Floyd all over his jail cell, and he has to wake up every day and look at that man.
That's not bad. I like that idea.
And he has to look at that for the rest of his life every day when he wakes up. And I think that's what he needs.
You know what? One thing is, I don't know if the news ever brought this up at all, but his wife, as soon as she got word that he was actually indicted, losing his badge and going to jail, she actually divorced him straight up.
Oh yeah, they did say that on the news. Yes.
And I was like, that's the smartest woman ever, honey. I would hug her and be like, you're the smartest.
Because she know if she would have stood by him, she would have put a target on her back. I don't know if they had kids together, but that would have been a large target on both her if he had kids on the kids' back and both her back. So I don't blame her for that. And then the other shooting that happened in Minneapolis was with the guy who was being took to jail, was supposed to be getting taken in jail for the warrant. A lot of people get so upset with me when I say this. A lot of people say he didn't deserve what happened, but the way how I looked at it, and then like the one where I don't know if it was Seville Smith or whichever one, I can't remember which one that happened at the lakefront downtown, but it was just one of those situations where I looked at like they put themselves in that situation. Like all he had to do was go to jail peacefully, and instead, when he was getting handcuffed, he decided to get back in a car and pull off. Like he put himself in that situation. Now, that officer should have known the difference between a gun and a taser, because from looking at that video, she had plenty of time to look down or to even look at what was in her hand to differentiate, between a gun and a taser. And I'm pretty sure the taser handle is probably plastic and your gun handle is metal. So I'm pretty sure you should be able to feel that difference in your hand.
And I will tell you hands down, watch enough TikToks, and I can tell you just for being, I used to go, just recreational hunting.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you hands down, and holstering. And now I've never had a taser, so I have no idea what it. But to me, I've had a little plastic gun, and the real gun. I mean, they're not light. Okay.
Yeah, they're heavy.
They're heavy. Okay, they're not. I mean, they're made. You can pick them up, and they have smaller. Depending on what you have. But that taser is light. It's plastic. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's a heavier plastic, but you know the difference. I mean, there's enough cops on TikTok where they say, hey. They'll say like one side, hey, it's always the left side is the taser, right side's the gun. Well, they want you to always grab left, not, right first. Always grab left first. They always want that left hand, they want that first, because it used to be the old West where everyone used to be ever grab right handed. Well, they changed it. I don't know. Again, this gentleman explained it. And I'm like, that's just, why, you could tell if you would have grabbed both of them,
mm-hmm.
you'd be like, whoop, got to reholster this one,
Right. And it is crazy that we kind of got to have a debate between her knowing the difference between the two. Because I just keep looking at it like, if he just would have let them arrest him and went in peacefully and took care of whatever the warrant was, he would still be here. Yeah. And for people to try and riot and do all the things that they were doing in Minneapolis when it happened, I feel like that was just totally uncalled for. Like, I get that we have another young man that's dead. Like, I get it. But some of these younger people are putting themselves in that situation because you do not want to go peacefully to jail.
No, don't run. I mean, I understand there was a young man too down in Chicago, and I know he was running. He put his hands up, and I understand the officer is. I think the officers are on leave. I believe in Chicago. Mm-hmm. I believe there's like 2 or 3 of them. They actually are on leave until actually the DA, and then I forgot what other county or whatever's involved. We're gonna look into it. Yes, I mean yes. You just. If the officer tells you to stop, just stop. Put your hands up. Just do what they. They're not asking you to. They're not asking you to walk a straight line. If you had too much to drink, or depending on what state you're in, maybe if you had too much to smoke, whatever it is. But But I mean, they're just just stop. That's it. Don't get aggressive with them. Just put your hands up. Just follow a direction. If you think you feel that you're being assaulted by an officer, mm-hmm. by all means. If somebody else is there, videotape it, this and that, you can always bring it up when if you have your court case, you can always bring it up. You could tell your attorney, you could tell the DA, you could tell everybody, I feel so-and-so was harassing me or shoved me around this and that, and the body cam was turned off. Again, good signs where that officer could be above their law and pay grade where they shouldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, because when you watch the video, like you can clearly see there was nothing in his hands when he put the gun up, when he put his hands up and the officer shot him. And then I was talking to somebody else today, and they were like, "Well, because he like the gun was like behind the fence or something like that." So they said probably when he tossed the gun behind the fence and then turned to put his hands up, it made it look like he was about to shoot at the officer and try to kill him, considering that they was trying to commit a crime or a murder or something like that when the officers arrived. So that's saying that's the reason why the officer probably shot the kid. But I mean, from the video, it looked like clear as day that his hands were empty and you just shot him.
And they were empty. To me, I didn't know that he actually had a weapon. Again, I
didn't see that. Like I didn't see that in the video. Like I don't know, so like from his point of view, where he was saying like, hey, the guy when he said the guy, tossed it when he looked like he tossed the gun behind the fence and stuff. Like the gun was behind the fence. Yeah. That he originally had, but in that video, it looked like he just stopped and put his hands up, and you shot. So I don't know how to justify, any other thing but that.
To me, I mean, he put his hands up. I mean, if he had a weapon or not, he should have been like, okay, that's it. I don't have nothing. Sit back. I have nothing on me.
Right.
Come arrest me. Or and there's been instances in the past where people literally put their hands behind their back and the cops have shot them in the back.
Mm-hmm.
This has been again, I don't recall where, but I've heard of people that put their hands up, turn around, kneel on the ground, they do everything, lay down, and they still get shot. And you're like, well, why? They follow exact procedures. This is what law enforcement is told to do. they're told to tell people to put their hands up behind their back, on the ground, whatever it is. It's all the same procedure. Everyone's seen the TV show Cops. It's the same thing.
Right.
That's all they're taught, law enforcement.
One second, I gotta turn this light on in here.
Okay, that's okay. I keep them so lit up in here. Holy mackerel.
Okay.
There you are.
Technology.
There we go.
Wonderful age that we live in.
There you go. You can just get one of those clappers, Martel.
I know, right? I should invest in one of those, but I'm cheap, so.
Actually, they have little plugins now. Little censored things. Someone said on the wall, you can plug it in, and then you hook it up to your phone.
Oh wow, that's too much work.
I don't know technology. I don't know.
I am still figuring out technology. Everybody be like, but you're young. Like, man, technology has advanced. Like, people don't understand. Like, I was born like right on the cusp of like the big internet boom when internet became internet when I was born. So and even then it wasn't what it is today.
No.
So just like how the 80s and 70s and 60s and so on had to learn how to use technology, that's how it's been for me.
It's weird. My mom was born in 52. My dad was born in 1947. Again, just after 1942, 43, World War II. It's funny that my dad is 73 years old, Martel, of all people, and he still has a few little things I have to teach him here and there, don't understand. My mom, she knows how to use Facebook, basic text and phone calls. She doesn't even that smartphone is like foreign language to her. My dad, no big deal, right? He'll call Facebook, he'll Facebook me, all that shit. He's just like, this isn't that hard. I'm like, the technology is made for a child, 5-year-old, 4 or 5-year-old. That's what it's made for. Seriously.
Right, it is.
And so there's no hard things about it. Just you have to just train yourself to understand. That's it, I mean, right. I'm playing around on TikTok and that's fun, but it's
right.
Whatever. I mean, I do my videos, dances and all my fun stuff, but
so one of the other things I want to ask you about was there was the other incident when the police shot I believe this is a young lady. She was in a fight with another young girl, and she was, I guess, had a knife in her hand and going towards the other girl, and the officer shot and killed her. And I think this happened either a few days ago, actually. And the officer said, I forgot what state this was in, but they said their police policy is if somebody is coming towards them with a weapon to do harm or to somebody else, that's their policy to shoot, not to tase them, but to shoot. I'm like, but it's a knife. Somebody's coming at you with a knife, you tase them.
Yeah,
you give them the opportunity to at least live. But his first reaction was, and this girl was probably only between 13 and 16 years old, and just how kids have fights, neighborhood fights.
Oh yeah.
And he pulled up on scene and saw the knife. She was going after the girl with the knife and shot her and killed her. And this probably was a girl who probably was getting bullied. You don't know the situation of what was going on. You just showed up and saw her with the knife and shot her and killed her.
That's so wrong. To me, it's wrong. I think I might have. I might have seen that. I know there was one and there was another one about a 7-year-old that got killed or something like that too. But to me, I gotta ask you, Martel, is that, why does your policy under law enforcement say specifically, or even under your court system say, shoot first if they have a weapon? To be honest with you, tase them, yes. Or ask them if they could drop the weapon and kick it over to you.
Exactly.
If they kick the weapon over to you, you can't touch it, just for evidence. But just, at least it's over by you. That's it.
Exactly.
That's it.
He shot her and killed her right there in front of. I think she was in front of her house, right in front of her house. Just shot her and killed her.
It's just not. And again, we go back to this one human race thing. We need to really look at what are all these policies and why are the police officers why are they doing this stuff?
Right.
Why are you saying, hey, well, too bad, this person's got a. No, I don't care if they got a weapon. And if they don't drop it, if it's to me, the thought is, if they're going to start shooting you, well, then you got reason to shoot back. Right. They start shooting you as a law enforcement officer. To me, then instead of taking them out, shoot them in the arm, shoot them in the leg, whatever. Take out something that might hurt. They might lose, for a long period of time, but get back. But then again, a lot of these law enforcement agencies are just like, they don't want that lawsuit against them anymore.
Right.
And well, what are you going to do? To me, I would shoot somebody, tase them. The taser's been out for years. They've been out for over 15 years now, 10 to 15 years. Right. Tase them. Just tase them.
Oh. So while we're on laws, there's one thing two laws I wanted to talk to you about. One was a lot of these Republicans passed. Well, I don't know if it's Republicans. It's not just Republicans. I believe it's both parties and independents, where they're trying to pass the law against transgender people who transition from male to female and want to play in women's sports, like on sports team and stuff, and they're banning them from playing on these teams. And I want to get your thought on that.
So to me, like Florida, Mississippi, Montana, North South Dakota, I'm kind of saying I'm on top of this one actually. And some of the not all states. Idaho, I think, is possibly, but to me, it's not what's between their what's between their legs. Okay, all right. Now, if they yes, they have the proper. They have to talk. They have to do the proper thing. To me, it doesn't make you more. If they're going through their blockers, or it is expensive to be a young kid to be on blockers. It's very, very expensive, Now that doesn't mean because they're gonna, they can't transition until they're 18, but they have all the aspects of being a girl, being a transgender female. To me, let them play. Let them.
Right.
You can't be what's the word I'm looking for here, Martel? You can't be you can't just be like, well, I'm sorry, there's only two genders and that's it. That's your Christian philosophy that actually is wrong.
Right.
And I have to go back on the Bible, and this not to talk about the Bible, but I have to say that God loves all. So it shouldn't be a decision from a judge or from a jury or from a group of people or a bunch of what they call super straight people saying that that's not right. No, it's not your authority to do that. Now, this should be chosen, to me, you should let these kids be kids.
Right.
They're only kids for so long.
Well, they're talking about like professional sports too, because like it's crazy because when I hear them trying to ban like just in general in all sports in general, they're trying to do this. I was like, but you guys are trying to integrate where you're talking about having, female quarterbacks in the NFL and female, basketball players in the NBA, which is all men, all men thing. So like you're okay with a female going into a men's league, but you're not okay with a man who transitioned into a female going into a women's league and playing the sport. Like, I don't get it.
It doesn't make no sense. In the Olympics, that's the World Olympics. Okay, you have to be at a certain level as a female. Now, myself, I know I'm in that range between 1 to 10. There's like a hormone range you got to be in. I'm, I think, about, 5 or 6. So I'm in that range where legally I can go and be in whatever sport I'll be. They would pay me in the women's, the women's, because that's what I be legally as. So then that's what it is, because as long as within that range. Now, if the Olympics is allowing this, okay, and they've been allowing this for the last 4 to 8 years, they even heard about it, but they're actually now bringing it. NBC has been the one actually talking a lot more about NBC Sports. And so I think, to me, if they're allowing it more on a large scale, on a world scale, we need to allow on a state and local scale to allow kids to be able to do this. Because I can tell you, there's got to be other countries that allow, if you're transitioning, if you're on blockers and you're, this and that, fine,
Right.
I mean, then yes, maybe there might be some fine lines. But again, they're kids. We can't draw legal laws against kids. We can't.
Right.
There's no, we just, it's not justifiable.
Right. Because now they have some states where they're passing laws where a kid can legally start the transitioning process to their 18 also, which I'm like, why? I mean, if they made that choice, I'm pretty sure when you're 15, 16, 17 years old, you pretty much know at that point. And to stop them from stopping that to starting that process, I feel like it's just totally whack. Like when they know, they know.
And to be honest with you, that when for those legislators or governors to make that rule, you understand there's private business owners, like there's therapists and there's doctors, and they do understand that they can legally, as a group of them, get together and sue the state, sue those. You do understand. You do understand that you could. I mean, like Donald Trump's getting sued by like 6 states right now in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So you can as a group, you could say, hey, by the way, we have these X amount of transgender people, and it's not fair to them, because otherwise the chances of suicide is so much higher for any transgender people. Mm-hmm. It's so much. Again, the percentage is way over 80%. Especially youth is worse.
Right.
So let them be them. Let them get on it. And then guess what? If they they're going to knock heads about it, to me, mm-hmm. and this is another reason why I said be governor. And guess what? They're welcome to, to me, I want all these kids, I want everyone to be, safe and comfortable in this state. Because you know what? If they can't, I'll be more glad. They're more welcome to come to Wisconsin, and we will, we'll take care of them. We're not going to have this one-sided way. It's not going to happen no more. We'll take care of them. Make sure they're in sports.
Because one of the things I was thinking about, if they're under 18 and want to transition, I said maybe there should be like some guidelines put in place. Like it should be like a checklist they can go through to make sure that this is the permanent decision that you want to do. Maybe if whether it's going to see therapists or all these other doctors and all these other things, to make sure to make sure this is what you want to do.
Yeah.
Even at that age. And then if you for sure, if the doctors and the therapists feel like, okay, you know what? Yeah, this is something they really want to do, then let them do it if they're under the age of 18.
And that go ahead, Martel.
Yeah, because I know in like earlier years, in the earlier years, probably like early 2000s or somewhere, people were, now, back then the technology wasn't as advanced as it was now for it.
No.
But people who were going through that process and wanting to transition and do all them things back then, I know that it was a series of therapy sessions and like you had to have a doctor sign off on it, like they're in the right mental mind state to make this decision to do it. And I feel like when you're 18 and younger, there's just something that should just be in place. So if they feel like they're in the right headspace to do it, then let them do it.
And maybe if that timeline is say a year,
right.
Let's see in 6 months how they are, and then let's challenge them to start being that person they want to be, start dressing like that person, start going to school, start doing those activities like you would as that preferred gender that you want to do. Okay.
Right.
You can have a preferred name before we do our legal stuff. Okay.
Right.
Legal name changes and that. But to me, let's to me have a timeline. And yes, let's make sure these doctors, make sure maybe you have to get a second mental health expert involved again. Maybe that might have to happen just to make sure we, that everyone's on the same page. And this thing, because again, I've seen, a few videos and Facebook things where some of these women transition to guys, and all of a sudden they transition back to women. So
that's possible.
It's possible, but I mean, your genetics, everything, everything, your body wise, it's all kind of, it is, and women can, or men go to women and then change back because they just don't like it, but that is possible. Just that everything might not develop in the direction you might get. And then there's, you always think, if you get your girls up top taken off, they don't come back, so, you got to think about, there's things that you kind of have to psychologically, and again, when you say the Martel, maybe there's somewhere to be like, hey, by the way, they have to wear this, say they're transitioning to a girl, maybe they have to wear this, upper set and wear your upper set to see what it feels like to wear what you have, and to see if it's actually something you actually, can you handle this? Can you handle wearing a wig for, for a whole, days off and on and this and that, and all the routines that women go through. So
Right.
if you can handle it and you feel comfortable in that right direction, then sure, but again, go through the process. Yes. I mean, that's definitely something, I definitely agree with you, Martel, 100%. I do 100% on that. That's a great idea.
Yay! I came up with a great idea.
Great idea. We'll have to notate that down and make governor status. So,
Right.
and actually, if I just even make a senator level, this might be a good point to bring up.
Right. That's what I said. Yeah, the senator level, that is a good point to bring up. And then one of the since you talked about running for senator, one of the other things is that I don't know if you saw the report on Wisconsin roads. We actually failed our report on roads and the road conditions and stuff.
Yes.
And they were talking about even if they did spend the money that I guess the DOT asked for to make the improvements to the road, it'll only bring our grade level up to a D, as far as the conditions of our roads.
Mhm.
Now, I kind of agree. Like it's like our roads are so bad now. Like when I'm driving on the highway here in Milwaukee, like I'm literally dodging potholes on the highway. That's just how bad it is. And I was like, we need to get somebody in office to do something about this.
We need like an infrastructure bill. We need to get somewhere we can. I mean, I'm not just saying patch holes. I'm not that doesn't solve problems.
It's the same hole that I don't see patched multiple times, and it's still like 2 weeks later, it's back to being a giant pothole.
And to be honest with you, let's just take Milwaukee. Let's take Madison because they're the largest metro cities in the state. And to be honest with you, there's a lot of traffic. You have interstates and highways, and you have interstates coming in and out, and there's a lot of traffic in and out of Milwaukee all day and night long, all the time. They make the big loop around. And so to me, I would like to see, I would like to see not just, hey, let's just, no. I mean, if you have to cut it down to one lane and do one lane at a time, fine, whatever it's got to take. But yes, we need to bring it back up to a plus level. I mean, yes. Infrastructure is I know Mr. Biden is trying to get, something going so we can get ourselves up to speed. I think something else we could use on this infrastructure level also would be the high-speed rail system. I am very, very much for it. Coming from a background on my father's side, my grandfather would work for the Chicago Northwestern, and I would really love to see people. It's great to drive and it's fun to do that. But wouldn't it be nice to get us hop in a train and go? Say you want to go to Green Bay, right? I don't want to drive there, right? Hop a train. It might take you, say, 2 hours to drive it. I don't know what it is. Say you'd be on the train, you could be there an hour, hands down, right? Well, you would go, you'd go there, and you could, they'd have different places to stop, and then, then when you're done, you hop on a train, go back home, and it's the same like they do in Chicago, where you just have all these big parking rides, and you just park your car there, and and then you take the train.
Especially because it's crazy because from where I live at, it's actually, I can get to Madison sooner than I can get to Green Bay.
I believe it.
So I'm like, for a high-speed train to go to Green Bay, especially for people who live in, the metro area and want to go to the Packers game, like I think the train would be actually a good option to have.
To me, I mean, go to Madison. I mean, link up all of them. You got Madison, you got Wausau, you got, Wausau, Stevens Point, we got Eau Claire, we got La Crosse, Oshkosh, Appleton. Link them all the way up. We don't need to go, past Green Bay. We don't need to go past Eau Claire. Leave the Northwoods the way it is. Just leave that.
Well, like the major cities within the state needs to have like that connection.
And connect it to Chicago, connect it over to the Twin Cities, connect it down to Dubuque and Davenport, Iowa. Get it so everyone can get to their metro cities.
You might laugh at this, but I have never been on a train.
Really? You've never? Really?
I've never been on a train because we're going on a cruise next year, and we've been debating on how to get there. And like at first, I was like, "Oh, we can take the train." I had looked up all the train stuff. I was like, but I've never been on a train. And then me, being stupid, I end up on YouTube. And I end up watching videos on train crashes. So now I'm like, I'm not so sure about train. So I was like, maybe we can go back to the flying option. Because somebody was like, why are you? I said, I'm only scared to fly because of the takeoff and landing. I said, I'll be fine in the air. Once we in the air, I think I would be great because I've never been on a plane either. So I was like, I should be fine once I'm in the air. I think for me, it would just be the takeoff and landing. I would like.
The percentage in aviation and in high speed rail, I will tell you that the chance of failure is less than 2%.
I'm still scared.
It's not bad.
I have watched
but,
these train videos. I'm like, oh my god.
But a lot of them do. A lot of the new tracks are actually censored. So you couldn't have two trains go on the same track. Not like there used to be an 18 some or other. There used to be old steam locomotive, this and that. Coming from a person actually did engineer and actually drive a train. So for a short amount of distance, I did when I was 12. Yep, I did. And it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I would tell you I didn't go far, but now being the engineer driver, you understand that you have to make sure there's always these. You have to make sure you're going in the right direction, and a lot of the rail systems now are set up where it's all coordinated by time now. So if they're like an example, say because there's a lot of like railways open that they could actually put high speed rails in, so they wouldn't have to coordinate with like Canadian Pacific or Canadian Northern CN or CP because they would be on a different system. And they wouldn't have to worry about slowing down or speeding up for them, where they'd be on a separate track system. Okay. So you wouldn't have to worry about that then, which is good. Now I don't understand. There's that chance. There always is, I've never been on an airplane. I might be maybe by the summer or fall, but we'll see.
Yeah, because like where we're leaving from, the Galveston, Texas port, and I had looked at them like, okay, there's no train, like there's no airport there. So like our options are to basically either we have to fly into Houston and then probably arrange for like either a Uber, a Lyft, or one of those like airport buses or whatever to drive us like I think it's 50 to 55 minutes to Galveston.
Oof.
Or take like a coach bus or something down there and to get there, or versus a train where the train you get on the train is like a 30-hour ride, I think. Oof. And you be on the train and it takes you straight to Galveston. So we're trying to figure out what to do at this point because everybody's like, because I was like, if I do the train, it has to be one of those where I have my own private room thing. If I do the train, that's the only way I can see myself doing that. Other than that, it's like I can't do a train.
I mean, you can get your own. They have like singles, and then like if you want like two, I think it's up to like 4 people. I think you can get it in a car. That some are just like day cabs, and then some are like sleepers, what they are, similar to like a truck, semi or truck, how semi trucks are set up. So, I mean, it depends on what you're looking for. And, I mean, I will say like now, just an example, I don't know if there's Paso Martel, but like in Sheboygan, there's some business, it's out of Sheboygan, and they literally pick people up from like Manitowoc, Sheboygan area, kind of around that area, Plymouth. And again, it's some company, and they take them all the way down right to the airport. It's some like a third party type company, and that's all they do. They transport people, pick them up from the airport, bring them back, and stuff like that.
To the airport in Sheboygan or to the one in Milwaukee?
No. So they take them from Sheboygan right down to General Mitchell, down in Milwaukee. Oh. So, and so maybe there might be a third party that maybe Martel, you might be able to find someone a little cheaper, where maybe they might have a business where they like to have a coach bus, and they say, hey, we can get you, for
because I think that's something like the flight down there was like 5 hours, and is it 5? It's like 4 or 5 hours. I'm like, do I really want to spend 4 or 5 hours on a plane just to get off the plane and get to another vehicle and go for another near an hour to get to where my port is at? So it's
funny when there's like a smaller, going from Houston on a plane, like a smaller plane, like so normally they have these smaller kind of like I call not group planes, but like it's a smaller plane, can fit about 8 to 10 people in them. Usually they'll fly out of like some of the it's like off to the side of the big airport. They might have some smaller runways for some of these smaller planes coming in and out. And it's funny when they want to have someone from there, you hop on a smaller, like a commuter plane, what it's called. It's a small commuter plane. And you hop on one of those and just fly right over, and I mean, I would think Houston to Galveston and flight wise, you should be able to do it in an hour. I would take a guess. I wouldn't.
Right, because I keep trying to like when I go on their website, it keep having an option where you can try to set up transportation from the port to the airport, but it doesn't right now. They don't have any of that set up, so I'm like trying to get this stuff set up and get it paid for in advance, so that way when it is all said and done, I don't have to worry about it come time for the cruise, which I'm nervous about too because this is my first cruise also. So
Yeah, good luck. Yeah, careful. I've heard some people actually get sick on eating the cruise food.
I'm so hoping that I do not get sick.
Don't get sick
because we will be on this. We be on the boat for 7 days.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Because
go ahead.
It's because it's a part of our annual. We started this thing now, so starting next year, it's like we're doing like the first generation of cousins. So like we're doing these annual cousins trips every year. So this is just the first one. So I'm like, I'm kind of nervous as what's in store next after this is over.
Yeah, you know what? Next year you guys set up and go to Florida because my cousin actually has a condo down in Jacksonville. Yeah, I think so. Well, yeah,
we talked about going to this campground outside of Seattle, Washington. So we're thinking about doing a camping trip in Seattle.
Oh,
for the next one and getting a cabin. So I don't know. We just have to see what happens. Like I said, it's just something we're just starting where every year we're just gonna do an annual cousins cruise. So we're gonna see. It's not many of us going because it's crazy because when we talked about doing this, I believe booked the cruise last year. And we had told them like, hey, you got nearly 2 years or a year to pay off the cruise because you don't have to have it paid off until January 2nd of 2022. So you nearly had 2 years to pull it off, but then a lot of people still playing poor, so it's not many of us going.
Oh jeez. Oh no.
We'll see how these cousin trips work out.
It sounds like a lot of fun. I mean, to be honest, I said I have a cousin. Her and her husband live in Denver, outside Denver, kind of a little suburb. There's places, and I always said I kind of like to get. Now I'm not going to get everybody, but I was telling like my best friend Letty, we're saying it'll be kind of fun. We'll get Martel, Marcus, get Brandon, get his husband, just a few of us just to go. I don't know. I was just telling her, maybe we'll go to Chicago for the day or whatever. It'll be kind of fun to go somewhere. Just a little day trip and.
Oh, right. I was thinking that we need to plan it because hopefully I will be going back to work my regular job in May, so I will have my set schedule back to know when I work. Because like now, it's like I kind of make my own schedule, but I have to do it so far out in advance.
Oh.
And so then I will forget the days that I'm actually working until I get the email the day before saying, "Hey, you're supposed to work." And then it's been incidents where I forgot that I actually put in days to work. So then I go back in and schedule more days during that week. And that's how I ended up doing it this week. So like my only day off was this past Tuesday. And I'm not off again until this coming Tuesday because I thought I put in days not knowing that I put them in because I was like, oh, I need to get some hours. So I'm like, yeah, I made a mess of the whole situation.
It happens.
And then it's like 4 days of like 10-hour shifts. So I'm like, I did not know I did that. Because I was like, I didn't put in no days. I'm going through the system, like just putting in days. I'm like, okay, now, yeah, I hate it.
That's great. But I mean, I'll be kind of fun because I know Letty and I talked about, I don't know if we'll do this year. We're kind of waiting for the COVID to kind of get, because there's still stuff's closed, and I'd love to go to Chicago.
I always tell people like, if whatever group I'm in, if everybody is vaccinated, I'm so fine with doing it.
And
if you're not vaccinated, then I don't want to be around you.
Oh no, and I completely understand. I mean, the next one I get, it's in May, like kind of towards middle Mayish, and then I'll have my 2. Mm-hmm. And I think Letty gets hers, I think in our 2 or 3 weeks. So I mean, I want to be vaccinated because I want to be able to go do stuff, And I'm with you, Martel. If you're not vaccinated, then you just stay where you just stay home, or just do what you got to do because I'm not,
Wait, did you see? I don't know if you saw it on Facebook, but there was a lot of Milwaukee people who went down to Arizona for, I think it was, I don't know if it's this past weekend or weekend before. And they were all down in Arizona in these big groups and just partying. I mean, like thousands of people.
I did see it.
And none of them had no mask. And it's crazy how this past week, the state we went from averaging probably about 300 people testing positive, like it had doubled to now we're
Yeah,
having 600 people a day testing positive since
yeah.
they gotten back from Arizona. Like,
It's
when are y'all going to learn?
and they had, I think they had some in Florida too or something like that too. I think some a
Yeah,
while back.
and it's crazy because
I'm
like
like,
when I
really?
the vaccine clinic that I'm at, you'll be surprised at how many people like one of the questions when they're checking in and they're asking them like, have you been outside the state in the last 30 days? And I heard so many people say Florida. I just got back from Florida yesterday. I'm like, and they're like, Florida, you don't have a mask mandate down there. So you mean to tell me you're down in Florida around all these people with no mask on, and you have the nurses show up the next day that you get back, the next day in the vaccine clinic, trying to get a vaccine and like risking getting us sick who's trying to give out the vaccines,
Jeez.
and you didn't even quarantine or nothing. You
Yeah.
just out and about in the city, just passing. And then on top of that, some people don't even know if they're what's the term, asymptomatic or not,
Oh
and
no.
and
Mhm.
you're just passing it on.
It's crazy. And these people should know better.
Right.
They should. I mean, they should really know better to be like, what I to me, Martel, if I was married, okay, and I had a partner, whoever it was, to be honest, if they'd be like, hey, let's go to so and so, blah blah, I'd be like, no, not until we're vaccinated. I mean, yes, I have gone. Yes, I've gone to Milwaukee. I've seen my best friend Letty. Yes, I mean we've done all the proper safety precautions, this and that.
Yeah,
Yes, we.
like I go to restaurants still.
I mean, her and I do stuff together, just that we, make sure that we're always, disinfect
Right.
ourselves, cleaners, but we don't. We see each other once a month. It's not like we do this all the time. We're just, trying to play by the rules, be cautious,
Yeah,
don't get any red
I
flags.
was
We
talking.
don't.
I was talking to this guy. He said in West Allis they have no mask mandates in West Allis. He said, "Yeah, I went to the bar last week and I didn't wear a mask because the bar owner doesn't require you to wear a mask." And he said it was packed in there. So in West Allis right now, you can go literally if like I said, the business owner decide not to have a mask, requirement in place, they can have all these people in their businesses with no mask on.
That's pathetic. That's they actually did say at our company where I work for, I'm just a contractor, that once they get 70%, the 70% population in the plants, that I'll have 2 shots. They'll have to have 2 shots. Now I had to tell my boss that I had my first shot, day, time, location, and
Hmm.
then I'll tell them again for the second one, and then I get added to that list, of people with COVID shots, and then then once that percentage is 70, then we don't have to wear a mask,
Right.
which is fine. But here's what worries me, Martel. There's people there that, again, we talked about this earlier, that don't believe against their freedom or religion to get this shot.
Hmm.
And we talked about it a little earlier. We didn't say really that in detail. To me, then those people just keep on wearing some mask on your head or under your neck or wherever else. At least we know those are people that just don't want to get the shot, and then we know, who you are.
So that means we should build like a fenced-in area in the state and just put all those people who refuse to get vaccinated in that fenced-in community
Yeah,
by themselves.
yeah, that's it. This area, you guys stay there and have your freedom, have your Second Amendment rights, whatever you want to have. Fine, you just stay right
Right.
there. You guys hold the fort down.
Right. That's what something like, and I wish they would come up come up with something for. I mean, I get that the news tried to warn them, so like I'm an allergy sufferer, so I have very bad allergies this time of year, and it's just like when I'm out in public, it's like I have to be so cautious because people like I will sneeze or something, like, and they look at me like, "Oh, he has the Rona." Like, no, I'm just like it's allergies. Like like pollen is really bad for me.
Oh, I got same problem. Same
So
problem.
like,
Marcel.
so
I
like
hope
like
my
as
I
soon
hope
as
my
them like green buds grow on the tree, like them little green buds that
oh
grow on the
yeah.
tree and fall, as soon as those things start blooming, it's a wrap for me. Like that's how it just starts automatic.
It does matter. It does matter. To me, I mean, I hold coughs in, or if I'm going to sneeze, I try to hold it in until I could go somewhere privately, and I'll grab a Kleenex and
See,
or just get a
my sneezes, I be having to let out because one time I tried to hold it in the sneeze and I ended up going like one of those, and
yeah.
I accidentally let out a fart and it was kind of loud. So I'm like, nope, I'm not doing that no
Oh gosh, oh no.
more. I'm like, yep, I learned my lesson. I'm just gonna let the sneeze out. I
Just
said,
let
but
it
at least
out.
I'm not one of those people where I know I suffer from allergies, but then they will them people that will sneeze, but they take off their mask and then sneeze and put their mask back on. Like, you do know the whole point of the mask is that when you sneeze, everything doesn't go flying, right? To
Yeah,
get that person sick
yeah,
in the air. And
yeah.
you take off your mask to sneeze. Like, that makes no sense whatsoever. And then one of the pet peeves I hate is like everybody like you come into a medical building and I was like, it just bothers me so much how many times a day I have to tell grown people to put their mask over their nose in a day. And like it's just ridiculous. Like just people just wear the mask.
Oh yeah, they'll do like this. They'll
Yeah,
like this.
it'd be up under the
Like this.
nose. Yeah, or
Like
they
this.
put it like the yeah.
But like I have a coworker and she's like, "Oh, mine keeps falling down." I said, "Don't tell me that. You're like everybody else." They're like, "Oh, it's covered. What about here? It's got to be right up. It's got to be here to your chin. Right here
Right.
about the corner of the nose coming down."
Or I get the people who will come in and be like, I don't have a mask. Do you have a like what like we've been doing this for a year now. So at this point, it should just be, embedded in our heads, like, oh, let me make sure I have a mask when I leave out the house.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm just so red. Like I really wish people would do what they need to do to get things back to normal because they don't know how it feels to have to wear one of those masks for 8 hours a freaking day.
Oh, I got
Or like now I'm doing 10-hour shifts, so for 10 hours a day, sometimes 4 or 5 days in a week in a row, I'm wearing a mask. It is harsh. Like my ears be hurting by the end of the shift. It is horrible.
It's not fun. It's not fun. And I wear that with safety glasses too. So stuff gets caught together and twisted around.
They get mad at me. Like I try to wear the safety glasses. I'm like, I can't do this. Like it's too hot. Like I'm fat. I can't do this. Like I have on the mask. Do you want me to wear the safety goggles? Sometimes they have the ones that's like it comes up like to like halfway over my phone. I can't do it. Like no, I can't. I would take the chance of I would at that point I chose like I would take the chance of being exposed at that point than wearing those goggles because as I take the chance of getting exposed or I'm passing out from it being hot. You pick.
Yeah. That's your call. That's what you got to do.
I'm like, because I'd rather take the chance of catching. Well, I already said I'm vaccinated now, so I'm not really worried about it at this point. No. Like I said, if I do catch it, like I know that, I'm because I'm vaccinated, I have a good chance of not ending up in the hospital because now my body knows how to fight it off.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I got the shots initially, I had no reaction to either shot. Like it's just like my arm was sore for probably like a day at the most, and that was it. So I'm like, I know my body knows how to fight it off.
Mine's a little bit, but it's doing a lot better. I've been trying to stretch it out. Yeah, it hurts when I stretch it out a bit.
Yeah.
It'll go away.
It was like when you get the flu shot, like for like a day. For some people, it's like a day or two. Sometimes it's 3 where the arm just hurts. Like, and that's it. Like that's the only reaction that I had. And then it's crazy because some people like, oh well, I heard people are having bad reactions to getting the vaccine. I said from what I've been seeing, from the people who have like fainted or they started like sweating real bad after getting a vaccine, it's because a lot of people show up there and they haven't had anything to eat, or it's been hours since they had something to eat and they're not hydrated. And that's one of the most important things you need to do when you're going to go get a vaccine. So make sure you're hydrated and have food on your stomach. You can't go in and get a vaccine with your body dehydrated and hungry and then think that your body gonna be able to tolerate what's going into the body. Because as soon as that they inject that to your body is going into fight mode. Like, hey, what is this? I need to learn how to fight this off so I don't get sick. And if your body trying to fight dehydration and hunger while trying to fight off this new virus that's basically a dead virus that's entering your body to know how to fight it off, you're going to pass out.
Oh yeah.
You're putting your body into overdrive and working.
Mm-hmm.
That's just one of the main things I've been seeing.
And that's true. The nurse even told me, she said, stay hydrated if you're not, and I actually had, I drank, I ate some food. I made sure I even had some snacks before he went down and got my shot. Mm-hmm. And then I had a bottle of water, even on the ride up. I'm like, I'm going to stay hydrated, I'm just going to, they told me that it tells you on your, most of them people have my chart or whatever else to your clinic or hospital. Mm-hmm. And it tells you exactly what you need to do prior to, and then to that time of having the shot, and then what to do. And then they will tell you what to follow up. It wasn't hard. I understood you need to stay hydrated. I just he took a bottle of water and drank it on the way up just to make sure I stay hydrated on the way back. That's
right.
it. You know,
That's all I've been trying. That's all I've been trying to tell people. But people are stubborn, and they
Yeah.
use that as an excuse not to get the vaccine whatsoever. And like people just get over, just get the vaccine.
Oh, they say all kinds of stuff like, well, I've seen one of their friends said, oh, I'm not getting the vaccine. Oh, how's your 5G access at the shot in your arm? And like, there's no robot, no computer chip. There's nothing. There is no electronic device that's going to send a beacon from you to the federal government.
And it's crazy because I see them when they're putting the vaccine in the needles or whatever. It's like I see them doing it. So what people don't know is like in each bottle there is 6 doses of the vaccine in each bottle that they draw into the needles or whatever. And like I said, and they're just drawing. And I said, how are they going to know if there are microchips in the vaccine? How do they know that they're only putting 1 microchip in each person if this one bottle can go to 6 different people?
Yeah.
Like they don't know that.
No. I have no idea where they're getting this philosophy or information from, and no,
Movies.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Oh well, you're gonna be like that one. What was it? The one Will Smith. You guys are gonna all go turn into zombies.
Yeah.
We're not gonna.
I Am Legend.
I Am Legend. No one's gonna turn into a zombie. Okay, we're not turning into zombies. Okay, we may be dragging our feet because we work so much. That might be why we're a zombie. But then no, we're not. No one's gonna be like in zombie land and they're all gonna get this disease I Am Legend. No, we're not. That's not gonna happen.
Exactly. That's the people are just are crazy. Doesn't even think of those type of scenarios whatsoever. Hey, you get away from them courts, mister.
Hey, get away there, kitty. Go away.
Well, but yeah, I'm like people are just nuts at this point. Oh, one of the things I want to get to talk to you about because I know I got ready to go to bed soon. Yeah. So how do you feel about, because there was some laws passed where they're trying to do like voter suppression? So basically, in some states, I heard that they passed a law where basically you cannot vote in person unless you're like homebound, like you're just so disabled that you can't leave your house to try to suppress voting, mail voting. And I believe this was on the one, I can't remember if this was the first episode I recorded or the second episode I recorded of the podcast for this season. But I was like, I had talked to this one guy. He said, I normally vote Republican, but everything that has happened in the last 4 years with Trump, I voted Democrat. And a lot of these Republicans are not understanding how Biden won. I said, because a lot of the people who voted for Trump in 2016 are the ones who voted for Biden this election.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they just refuse to believe it still.
They say, oh, this never happened. And you've seen TikTok, oh, Trump's taking, he still has the military, Biden's dead. Biden's not dead. You know what? None of this stuff is true. And to me, the voter suppression, now I know Georgia's been a big one. I've seen a lot about in the news.
I think it's Georgia and Iowa is a big one now.
And Iowa's too. Okay. And I will say from my opinion, okay, I don't care if you have a health standard or you could have a busy lifestyle. You could be working a swing shift or you could be working a second or third shift. Maybe you don't have time. Maybe you have kids. Maybe you have parents. Maybe you have to take care of people. Again, there's always this scenario. Every human being has a different scenario going on. Right. So we don't know what's going on in their life. If they need to do a mail-in ballot, to me, let them do it. No one needs to be suppressed. Again, you talked about Malcolm X and MLK, Martin Luther King Jr. Again, they fought for rights. Okay, so everyone can vote. Okay, to me, now you're going backwards. We're going backwards with this whole thing. You're literally erasing these people. Okay, and I respect them as people, human beings. But they fought for, you got to think, they didn't fight just for black people. They fought for poor people, for unhealthy people. There's a lot. I mean, these guys fought for a lot,
Right.
And I agree that it's almost like we're going back to the 1920s. Does that sound about right? 30s, maybe? or am I,
Um,
or is it a little
it might have
before?
been the 30s. Not sure because I'm not sure because I know women wasn't even allowed to vote in the 30s and 20s.
So maybe it could be
So
40s, but
yeah.
to me, this, we're going backwards, I mean, it
Mm-hmm.
just, we need to keep going forward. We've got to allow everybody to do mail, because we could have another virus. Some could
Mm-hmm.
pop out in 5 years. We could have another one. That could just literally, we wouldn't be able to get it. And they could wipe out half the world. We by the time we get it figured out, half the people be dead. Really.
Right.
Not zombies, but no. To me, I think it's wrong. It's humanly wrong.
Right. I like mail-in voting for just of a simple fact that I'm lazy sometimes, and the simple fact that like sometimes like I might not want to go to work and then have to worry about going to go stand in a line to vote and when
Yeah.
I get off of work. So the fact that I can actually get my ballot early and get it sent in early, I like mail-in voting now. I don't.
I mean, to me, as myself, for safety of myself, yes, I live in a village, not a big city, but regardlessly, my safety is a concern. I don't want to stand there at 6, 7 o'clock at night in the dark
Mhm.
to try to vote. I'd rather just wait till what the hell's going on now? Sorry. There goes the ambulance went by my house. Sorry. Cut that out. Cut that part out, Martel. I don't know what happened here. Hold on. I got to look real quick. Sorry. Hold on.
Oh my god.
Okay, never mind. I have no idea. Okay, I don't get this much excitement through my park. So okay, sorry. Cut that part out of it,
Oh
Martel.
no, we are unedited.
Okay.
Everything goes in.
Oh jeez. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna be in so much trouble. I gotta just saw him just like, what the heck? I see flashlights, like, okay, somebody, but whatever. Hopefully nobody died or nothing bad. But to me, again, suppression it's wrong. We're going back to whites versus blacks. Again, we're splitting. To me, this is where I would say on a human level. I'm not talking if I'd be a politician. I'm not talking that. I'm talking as a human being. It's wrong. It's just wrong. Okay. Now, if those people are going to be suppressed, again, this is another reason why. If you're going to be suppressed, then go. To me, maybe it's a good idea. And I'm not telling people to get up and move. Okay. But maybe start doing your research on other states where maybe they don't suppress people. And especially to me, stop. And I will tell you this, Martel, you can put this on there. Stop suppressing black people. Stop. This has got to stop. This is enough.
Right.
We need everybody's vote.
Right. And that is true. That's the only way how our democracy actually works because we have the right to go vote and have the freedom to go vote and have our voices heard. And a lot of like some of these younger people just don't believe, oh, my vote doesn't matter. Like it does. Like last year during when the pandemic first hit and then that we had that spring election in April.
Mhm.
I got there to vote. It was about 3:45. I arrived there to vote. I did not leave until 7. That's how long it took me to get in and vote.
Oh,
I got rained on. It went from a nice sunny day to it was raining. I got held on, all
oh.
kind of stuff to get my vote in. And that's just how important that I felt like my vote was. That I stood out there in a thundered hailstorm to get my
Oh, jeez.
to get my vote voted. And mind you, I didn't have an umbrella, I didn't have a jacket, I didn't have nothing but this on that I got on now,
Oh.
standing out there to vote.
And it's to me, the mail-in thing is probably the most safest, most logical. And yes, you have to get someone, either a family member, neighbor, or something like that, to sign off on it.
Mhm.
And that's fine. That's the way it should be. To me, you should just allow people their safety security when they have time.
Mhm.
They can go in their room or go in a private area or say, hey, by the way, I have to fill out my ballot. No one can be around me, for legal reasons. Fill your ballot out, have somebody sign it, done. Mail, put in the mail. And then guess what? You're not staying on the weather. You're not going to get rained on, get sickly,
Right.
Go ahead.
No, because also like one other reason why I like the mail-in voting process. There's some people who work 2 jobs. They work first and second shift.
Yeah.
And so some of them people who like, oh, I didn't go vote because I have to work both my jobs. So that's the people like that are the ones who really need to get the mail-in ballots to get their votes in, so they can have their voices heard. And as I said, that's what's just the most important part about mail-in voting to me.
It needs to stick around. It was out there. specifically for people with multiple jobs or anything that it started out like that, and then it got to be general public. To me, I think everyone should have. You are a citizen of America, the United States of America, or I guess that the rednecks call it America, whatever.
Yes, America.
America, whatever. Call what you want. That's fine. That sounds kind of manly to say that, but whatever. Okay, that's fine. We'll go with that. So, but that's fine. And you know what? If your county, your district, your area, wherever it is, they give you that, you should be allowed to. You should be allowed under the Constitution to send in for that mail-in ballot.
Right.
Call in for it. Go online. Maybe you have to go down to the court office or your local clerk or whatever it is. Get it taken care of. Go ahead and do that.
And it's crazy because a lot of people were committing fraud. Like for me, so when I went for this year, I went online and I requested a mail-in ballot for all the elections for the rest of the year. And they don't realize, like, when you do that, you have to have an official government ID, and I have to upload my ID every time I go in to renew to them to send me ballots for the year. And I'm like, no, so like this one girl was saying that she said somebody had used her dad's name to go vote, and they used his mail-in ballot to vote. And I'm like, how is that even possible when they would have to have his physical ID in order to do that?
Yeah.
Because you got to have the official government ID or driver's license to get to even register to get the ballot. So how did they do that if they didn't have his ID? So you're just trying to say the system is just was that rigged against Donald Trump that they'd had to do that? I said 4 years ago when it was Hillary Clinton in the same predicament as Donald Trump was in this past election, y'all said there was no fraud. Yeah. Everything went through. Everything was fine. There were no type of, even though we knew that Russia, did whatever they did in our election.
Collusion and stuff.
Yeah, you still, but yet you guys still said, oh no, the election was fair. But then now that he lost, now, it's not fair because this and that. I'm like, what? Like, what is this world coming to?
It was a fair race. Okay. People felt, and you watched a lot of TV. I watched a lot of dumb commercials, dumb political commercials. So different. I've run for senator, run for governor. Like my father said, you're gonna have all these stupid people say that you're against this and you're against that, blah blah blah. I'd be like, you know what? If you're gonna believe that ad, it's probably a poor rendition of that person, and it's probably fake and actually unjustifiable. And, to me, yes, they have the freedom of speech. Yes, they're welcome to do that. But do they have the facts on that person? Probably not.
Right.
They're just nitpicking that person because they don't like it.
Exactly. And then, what was it? Because that's what I wanted to talk to you. One more last thing before we go. Because next year, Governor Evers is up for re-election.
Yes.
Now, how do you feel about? Because I got a feeling Scott Walker is going to try to run again for governor. Why would I mention that name to everybody? And it's crazy because no matter if they're black or white, Mexican, whatever, when I mention that name to anybody, they all have that same reaction. What is it about Scott Walker that gives everybody that reaction?
He had all this great things. He kicked off. To me, the first thing he did wrong was Obama had all this money, right? Allotted for these high-speed rail US-wide, right? Wisconsin turned it down. $7 billion to the state of Wisconsin. Mr. Walker said, we don't need it. Sorry, we don't work with Democrats. He said that.
Oh, wow.
We don't work with Democrats. Okay, no. What do you probably really meant? Well, I'm sorry, I can't work with you because you're black. Again, whatever. To me, that's wrong. That's wrong, Martel. Okay? Right. If someone's going to give you money, and I don't care what, we're all one human race again, that's just his verdict is he wanted to literally he gutted unions and he gutted everything else. The next step he was going to do was going to gut all transgender care statewide under Medicaid.
That sucks. Well, that man is sick.
He is not he tried to run for president and he destroyed himself. And if you bring that name up, actually, he was listed as the worst governor for the state of Wisconsin. The worst.
Wow. Yeah. And one thing that really, because now, like, I didn't understand, like, because, like, when he officially, like, broke up the unions and all that stuff like that, like, I don't think I was at legal age voting when all that happened. But, so I didn't really understand a lot of that when it was going on. But now that I'm an adult and work, I so wish that I had a union right now because there's just so much stuff that's going on in the workplace right now. And management and businesses are getting away with just because there's no union to fight for that person, and it's Scott Walker's fault.
Yeah, yep. Because we would have had, if you would have made it so it was open, kind of like open, open doors type thing, where you don't have to join a union, you don't have to be part of this and that, you got to pay your dues, about this and that. Right. You know what? To be honest with you, I'm talking to my father, and every single Democrat, majority of all Democrats have always been for unions, okay? I've been for unions. I've worked for 2 companies where I was a union person. I will tell you hands down, if everybody in this state was union, okay, everybody out there working. Now, I'm not talking restaurants. We're talking hospitals. We're talking, any kind of, sanitation, your assembly, all your regular manufacturing, cleaning, all your, all your
like corporates, we working for a large corporation.
Yeah, and so those corporations, would be paid. You'd be paid a minimal of $15 an hour. Okay. Now the restaurants would have to work something different, and it would be a lesser pay. Okay, because I know that is true. But to me, if this whole state was unionized, I'm just saying, right? Minus small bit. Now small business would have to be excluded because they probably wouldn't have the funds for it. Okay, unless you gave other tax incentives and this and that. But to me, yes, you would have less BS. Management would have to follow set roles and directions. Okay, and there wouldn't be none of this blowing people off.
Yeah, it's a lot of that going on, and it's crazy because I'm not gonna say what healthcare system I work for first per se, due to because when you seem to talk bad about them, you end up fired. But there's a lot, like the healthcare system that I'm currently with, I should say, is they care more about saving money and than their actual employees.
Yeah.
So they have literally tripled the load for their employees, and then are upset when goals are not met because of the decision they made to save money. And there has been people terminated over, employees, good employees terminated because of poor decisions made by them. And since there's no union to fight for them, it's just these people are like losing everything.
I mean, you don't get, your benefits, don't get, increased because this and that. To me, you just don't need a board director. My dad explained this to me down one time, and I did when I did my business school. You don't need a board of directors. You really don't even need a CEO, CPO. You don't need any of those people, right? You just need a president, a vice president of a company, and that's it.
Right.
That's it. You have administrative person, and then you don't need any of those other people. They're all gone, wiped clean, right?
Right.
Not only can you wipe that clean, and that's all that money can be saved for the company. One, but two, then that actually money can actually go down to the employees where they can get better benefits, or vacation time, more pay raises, more whatever.
And it's crazy because now with a lot of these states going for the $15 minimum wage now, it's crazy because like they just brought their minimum starting pay up to 15 at the beginning of this year actually, and it's crazy. So now I went from making $7 above minimum wage to now I only make $3 above minimum wage now. With the way how everything is set up, and it's crazy. So at first, before the minimum wage thing took place, where we know it was like $7.25, $7.50 for minimum wage. So when you reached your top pay, the top pay at that point where you were making at least what you were making $9 more than minimum wage.
Yeah.
When you reach the top pay. Now it's only $5 when you reach the top pay.
Mm-hmm.
And now, like you said, because we don't have them unions to fight for us to get that extra pay that we supposed to be getting,
yeah,
we're not getting it because we don't have a union to fight for it.
No, I mean, I wouldn't have a problem with restaurants being at like, $10 an hour, not $7.25 or $6 somewhere else. I could see them up, bump them up, yes,
Yes, I see restaurants at $10, but to say like somebody at McDonald's this should be making $15 an hour, I'm like, no.
To be honest with you, I mean, if we experience and you want to step up in a role like myself, I went from now I'm going to get trained and be like assistant manager for my company. Yes, it comes with more. Yes, it comes with more, more troubles, more issues, more this and that. It does come with a little more pay, a little more benefits. Again, I'm happy about that. The benefits myself, where if it's a bonus, yeah, maybe everyone will get. I will. The difference is with me is I will take care of everybody that's on my team.
Right.
I'll be like, hey, by the way, yes, it's only $5, but here's $5. Go have go get yourself some from wherever, this and that. But yeah, your restaurants, your fast food places, yes, you have corporate this and that. But the problem is that like McDonald's, like we said, we're at $15 an hour. Yes, it's corporate, but they're all kind of privately owned. And
Mm-hmm.
how do these businesses actually afford to pay them that much?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like you're buying a franchise. Well, they only make so much. They can't afford to pay them $15 an hour.
Exactly.
When you're selling stuff at $1, $2, and $3 prices, yes, you are making a profit, but
mm-hmm.
$10 an hour should be the start. Okay, right. I can see you bet you're going to be there for a while. It should bump it up as it goes. Yes, you should have a minimal of 2% pay raise once a year, minimum.
And it's crazy now that you say because like there's the healthcare system. How can I put it? So a healthcare system for 2 people hospital stays. So depending on what they're in there for, so somebody in the ICU for at least 2 to 3 weeks, that
Mm-hmm.
person that's in the ICU for 2 to 3 weeks can pay off a whole entire department payroll.
Yeah.
And then probably if you get a third or fourth person that can pay off the whole department payroll plus supplies and everything else that they're using. So if you're seeing thousands of people going into these ICUs and hospitals, and these hospitals are making billions, if not trillions of dollars a year, and it's not trickling down to their staff, there is something wrong.
Oh, there is. It's staying up top,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I met the one of the big shots for the company I work for, and he's like, yeah, blah, blah, this and that. That's not right. Blah, this and that. That's going to change. I'm like, I know he's saying it, but I'm like, dude, you make, whatever. You make, I'm just going to say. So you're the assistant vice president. You make probably $500,000 a year. I'm just going to say, right, Yeah, I don't see you go ahead and write out everyone a check for $25,000. Be like, hey, thanks for doing a great job. This and that, you made a year status. Here's the $25,000. I don't see that happening. I don't see any of those people be like, by the way, great job. What you're doing. We're going to give you a bonus for the next whatever it is to total. I'm just saying, what if say it's $12,000? Say they give you $1,000 every month for a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they make trillions of dollars, yes, I understand it costs money for employees, for equipment, for the building, maintenance. Yes, that all comes into factor. But that's already put into factor. That amount's already taken already from the top. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
There is that big chunk that they still have to work with. Yeah, that they could give back to the people.
Exactly. And they're saying on top of it, we got multiple hospitals and clinics within your system. You can't tell me that you don't have the money to trickle down to your actual employees.
And to be honest with you, the hospital I went to, you'd be amazed. It's brand new. I mean, it can't be no more than a year or two old.
Right.
And I will say that the company that was out of, they're out of the Metro City, come on now. They got to be worth billions of dollars.
Exactly.
They're putting up a clinic here and a hospital there. And I'm like, come on.
The money got to come from somewhere.
And it's so different. Like they just said Kimberly-Clark's to move their headquarters down to Illinois. Merck and Marine did that 5 years ago. Now Kimberly-Clark's going to do that from Neenah. moving their corporate headquarters down to Illinois to be hubbed around the whole United States. No. That's all bullshit. That's all bullshit.
Right.
Everybody wants to be down in Chicago. Miller's down there. Everyone wants to be down in Chicago. That's where it's at.
They should be like WWE. They have 3 headquarter buildings.
They do?
Yeah, they have one in Stamford, Connecticut. They have one in Chicago, and then they have another one in LA.
Oh, so they do it? I heard that Chicago, but I don't know if it's true. So it is true. Okay.
Yep, they have 3 headquarters. So some of these companies like, oh, then it's going to cost them too much money to do that kind of stuff. So it's what they acclaim. But but one of the things is like, so for the whole entire pandemic, like, so from somebody like me, I worked the whole entire pandemic. And during that pandemic, only thing we were given from the hospital was we got a free meal a day from the cafeteria. And then in December, we got a $200 bonus. When other healthcare system gave their staff $1,200 to $1,400 per staff member, when he got $200 for a bonus for working the whole entire pandemic.
Yeah. Okay. So that's really being logical to the people. Yeah. No.
And wonder why your employees don't feel respected.
Yeah. No. That's wrong. That's wrong. I don't understand. I mean, Aurora. If you heard of Aurora hospitals now, Aurora Medical Centers, I believe, were started in Sheboygan, Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're all over the state, plus Northern Illinois.
Right.
Okay. You tell me where the money's going. You know.
Right.
I mean, they got billions of. I mean, they're probably in the trillions, quadrillions, and what they are. You know. I mean, and the you know, yeah, I've heard that same thing where they just gave them, you know, people, I'll just give you a few $100 and that's good enough, and you'll be fine. You know.
Right.
But you know what? I'm the CEO. I gotta go fly over to Cancun, or I gotta go to Germany, or wherever else. God, that's gonna cost me about, you know, I gotta fly my family. It's gotta be first class, private jet. Yeah, you see where all their money's going? You see where it's going? Mm-hmm. You know, right there. There's your example. Ted Cruz. Let's take Ted Cruz. You know, no mask. Him and his wife fly down to Cancun, right? No, there's no pandemic. Nothing's going on. You know, comes back and it was nothing. This and that. Yeah, he got sick. He didn't tell you about pain. They didn't tell you that Ted Cruz got sick down there.
No, they didn't. No.
Yeah. You know, news can tell you that.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Did he bring COVID back? I don't know. Maybe he had it before. Who knows? I don't know.
Right. Wait, wasn't he was that like the mayor or something who left his people to fend for themselves, especially when that snow thing happened in was that Houston?
Yeah,
or something like that.
Yep, he was a governor, I think. And no, he's a mayor. Yep, he was a governor of the state, and now, yep, and he just let him. Yep, everyone found. Yep, you know, it was 30 degrees and pipes are freezing. I was watching tons of TikTok videos, and you just see these people, and oh my God, I mean, there's people in these car ramps. And their water is just coming right down, froze right to the vehicles, just like froze. You know, it's destroyed.
In their apartments too. I seen that one guy, his pipes burst in his wall, and he had his TV mounted on his wall.
Yeah.
And it was just like water, just everything, all his electronics was just ruined.
And they blamed it on, well, you know, Texas was trying to be more green friendly, so just had one electric company and this.
Yeah, they don't have a power grid really down there.
No, they don't.
And it's crazy because I don't know, did I talk about this? I might have talked about this last season where Texas, well, basically back in the 70s, the government tried to come in and regulate their their electric grid down there in Texas. And they're like, no, we don't want that. We want to be independent. And they told them like, hey, you need to do this, this, and this and make these upgrades. So when this happens, that you would be prepared for it. So this was back in the 70s when they told them to make these upgrades to prepare for what happened with that snowstorm this past year, and they didn't do it. And it falls on that government down there in Texas.
I think now they're gonna have to give away, because you just think how many citizens versus government. There's more they always say there's always more citizens and civilians. Okay, you include military personnel versus the government. So you got to think, if they're going to tell them, hey, we want this fixed, we want this federal, to fix this, well, then they better fix it.
Right.
They better get after it.
Because that's for here, I don't know if We Energies, I don't know if that's a statewide thing or what, but like they know how, like, they buy, I don't know where they get their gas from, wherever they natural gas from, but they buy natural gas. They know how much natural gas they need to buy to heat everybody's houses during the winter.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And so it was like they knew. And that's how that's how we don't have those issues up here. But far as down there, nobody did anything. Like they didn't have anything they needs powerhouses down there.
No. And it's sad because I mean the state way before you and I were around used to be Wisconsin Public Service in the whole state. Yeah, I got split up because that's the way stuff goes. You know, when there's someone to buy somebody out and they're like, we're gonna take this area. You know, I have Alliant Energy and it's yeah. And I don't know where they get their source from. If maybe We Energies is the same way. If they just get it from, you know, tap into some line, you know,
right,
and that comes up, you know, or what it comes from Canada. I don't
we don't know.
You know, it comes from somewhere, so it can heat our homes. And if you have a range where you would use that, you know, for your gas, you know, your stove, you know, whatever it is, oven. Again, that's their thing. Again, I don't know where they're located. You know, I don't really, you know.
Right.
They just get us our utilities, which they didn't have over 100 plus years ago. So we
come a long way in the last 100 years.
Thank goodness we're not going. I mean, we're going backwards, like with suppression. There's things where we're going backwards on, which we need to, you know. But again, to me, I don't think, even with Skywalker, I don't think he was looking at the big picture. You know,
right?
If you would have followed Obama, to me, for once, and I understand it was only in my 30s when Obama came in. To be honest with you, I thought Obama was completely different from everybody else. Completely. Mm-hmm. You know, why couldn't the rest of these governors been like, all right, let's do it, you know? Let's look into this, you know? Mm-hmm. Let's see what's going to happen, you know, really. Not be one-sided about it, you know?
Yeah, I wasn't legal voting age when Obama got his first term.
I mean, but I liked Obama, you know? Yes. Mm-hmm. Do we need a female president? Yes. Do we need Hispanic president? Yes. Right. You know, we need a lot more diversity. Yes.
Right. All righty. Claire, I want to thank you so much for joining me on a podcast. It's been a pleasure. We have to do more of these chats more often, and we need to figure out a way how to get the group back together, because I kind of missed the Zoom calls with the group. We need to figure out a way to get some at least start a group or something, because I see a lot of the pages get started, but they just fall apart.
I'll tell you what. I think I did add you and Marcus, but let me see about. I'll send you guys the invite to my Team Wisconsin Plus, and then let's maybe we can do a Friday or Saturday night, or do maybe Wine Wednesday. Maybe we'll just maybe we'll get together and granted I don't drink because I got to work the next day, but I could probably have a glass. I could have a glass. If
I was working my regular schedule, I would have to work the next day. But since I've been making my own schedule, I've been working the next day. So yeah, I would drink all that wine and go to work the next day.
So I mean, I could have a glass. I'm not saying I can't, or just have some juice or whatever it is. But,
right.
But tell everybody, okay, listen, we're gonna do a little kind of a Wine Wednesday. Well, this, and actually this might be a good one where you could get a group of people together,
right,
and maybe do a group podcast where you could be like, hi everyone, this is Martel, with same day, different days, same cast. I can't get it right. I can't get it.
Different day.
I could never get it right. I was like, cramming something.
To be honest, I came up with it, and it still took me a while to get it right when we first started launching this podcast, because I was saying the name of the podcast wrong.
What I need to do is I should put a link on my Facebook page, so people can actually go to it. Because I've been telling a lot of people, actually, I'm going to do that, and tell people that, hey, by the way, when you are on your phone, your tablet, even if you're on your one of your devices like your Roku or Apple TV or whatever it is, go listen. Go listen to one. Just take a listen. I mean, I've had at least a dozen people, Martel. I don't know how many hits you've had from Spotify and Apple Podcasts, but I've been trying to get people in there just to try to say, hey, just listen once. Just listen,
It's crazy because I think the podcast, because the first episode hasn't even went up yet. So the first episode of the new season actually come out this Sunday. And it's crazy because the podcast, I think, has gotten close to 200 streams since, and it's been like a month since I uploaded a new episode. Within that period of not uploading episodes, it's been close to 200 streams. So it's getting some viewership, so I'm happy.
I'm trying to spread. I'm really trying to spread love. I am really trying to share it out as much as I can. People on TikTok and Snapchat. And
I know. I keep saying I need to be more active on TikTok.
It's hard. I know I've been doing my dances, but I said I was one of my friends asked me, said, "Hey, do you have a friend that whatever you post? I think you had one where one of your cats or whatever else was bothering you, or I think you had a TikTok."
Oh, yeah.
And I said, yeah, that's a good friend of mine. I don't get into details. I said, that's good. I don't like people like to be nosy, and I don't like to get into details on stuff like that sometimes because I have no idea where they're from or whatever else, what their intentions are. And I'd be like, yeah, it's a friend of mine. I said, yeah, maybe we'll do a duet together sometime or whatever, and do a, whatever it is. Or
right.
But I mean, I would definitely, yes.
I'm down for a duet on TikTok.
Yeah, we can do it. You want to do some like that, the song I did, which actually I should have done a little better, but the one by Greg, is it Nappy Roots with Greg Street?
Because I haven't been on TikTok and it's been like it's been like a week or two since I've been on TikTok.
But that, I mean, you did actually see it and you liked it. So
okay,
you hearted it or put a comment or whatever you did. And I will tell you.
Oh, okay. I must be. I gotta stop drinking.
And that's okay. But I thought because I want a variety. I just don't want country. I want a little rap. He's like, why do you want rap or hip, honey? I want everyththing. We'll get some alternative. I wanted everything. So if someone would be like, hey, can you do this song or do it? Sure. If you make you tell me, Martel, hey, Claire, I like to request I want you to sing this song or do a song and I'll do whatever. Sure, whatever. There was there's people from there's a gentleman I watched from New York, one from California. Again, just people,
right.
And it's funny. They have videos like every 10 minutes. It feels like. But
I'm not that dedicated.
I'm like, I ain't that good. I mean, once a week.
I still be trying to figure out how to do some of them special effects on there. Like I can't. I don't know. I'm just accepted the fact when it comes to TikTok, I'm one of the old people they talking about on TikTok.
I'm learning myself, so don't feel bad. I mean, you're not the only one. I just kind of like, I think I know what I'm doing. Maybe I don't know, but I mean, to be honest with you, Martel, it's fun to do. I'd like to do more, and I'm going to start getting it out there and try getting on Facebook myself. Maybe tomorrow or this weekend, and say, hey, anyone looking this and that. But yeah, no. I will tell you. Off the track here, off the record.
Wait, tell you one second. Let me pause it first.
Okay.
Is it recording? Okay, we are back. I had to take a quick pause, everybody. So if you hear the audio switch, that's why. Had to do a quick pause. But I'm going to have Claire give out her social media account, so that way, if you want to contact Claire or if you have any questions, you can find her.
Well, good evening, everybody. My name is Claire, and you're welcome to contact me on Facebook. My name is actually one of my old nicknames. It's Crystal B, and the last three is BEE. If you want to find me on TikTok, if you wish to do that, and that's the other one of social media app, wish to go do your dance video or sing or whichever you want me to duet, you're welcome to find me at the @ Miss MS Care Bear WI, the WI for Wisconsin. And you're welcome to go ahead and add me there, and please just send me a message, say you heard me on the podcast. And if for some reason you don't have either of those and you just have Snapchat, by all means, you're welcome to add me as DJ Care Bear 131 on Snapchat. So I'll be more glad. I do have a few social things. And if you have any questions or comments or suggestions about me running for senator or governor, I would love anyone's feedback. And I'm always welcome to take everyone's thoughts and ideas on stuff. And Martel, I want to appreciate it. Thank you very much for taking your time and inviting me to your podcast, which is such an honor. I could not be more welcome to enjoy this is the best podcast in the world, people, just so you know. I'm going to break it up a little more, but this is really, to me, I have never been ever asked to do any kind of, this set up, and to me, I think I'm very blessed. So Martel, you are a very awesome, very great host. It's so beautiful that you do this stuff.
Thank you. I feel so special.
you know what, and I want people to listen to it, and I will be sharing the love as much as I can do it. I'll be putting it out there on my Facebook page. And by all means, if you have questions or comments, by all means, I will revert you over to Martel and tell them, hey, so-and-so's got this question and I'm going to, send them over to you. But I love, I would be more glad to be a guest anytime here. Maybe we'll talk next, maybe about, I don't know, me actually signing that paperwork to be senator for the state of Wisconsin.
Right.
That might be another big one. And maybe we can get a panel or group of people together and just listen to them,
Right.
I'm just, and see what your opinion is, Martel, what everybody's opinion is, and see where things are going to go. Let's see what we can do. Let's work together.
Well, I am probably going to have some people because I'm probably going to need some episode breaks. So I've been thinking about having people guest hosts, like to fill in as a host for me on a few episodes this season. So we'll see how that works out.
Oh, well, I'd be glad to do that. I may have to come to your house maybe, but I don't know, but that's fine.
I mean, it can still be through Zoom. I just have to set it up.
Okay.
Yep.
That'd be fine. I could actually, if you wanted a few guest hosts, I'd be more than glad to, while you're on vacay or wherever you are. You need a backup host like when Kasem had, I don't know what he's got. What is I can't think his name no more. He was on American Idol. Ryan Seacrest.
Ryan Seacrest.
Ryan Seacrest now, and Ryan Seacrest has all these celebrities come on and blah blah blah. So I wouldn't mind being a local celebrity and and having to come in for you while you're on vacay or hosting your podcast. That'd be a lot of fun.
That'd be awesome.
That would be fun. But I will definitely take the invite. You bet. I would definitely love to do that.
Alrighty. Thanks, Claire, for joining me on this episode of Same Cast, Different Day podcast.